Alright guys, we're going to follow up on the APK bleach script with this web template for deployment of Android payloads. This is just going to be a pretty dry, doesn't have a lot of texture web template, so you can deploy Android payloads through like a social engineering technique. And what we're looking at here on this Android emulator is the web page itself with just the apps with install buttons. I just, kind of banged out this HTML code just kind of as a really dry template for others to use and customize their own stuff if it's a good start. Of course, I'm not a professional. Everything I do is all self-taught, so there's going to be, little mistakes. So if anybody's like really good at HTML or something like that, I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes in there, but it works. Everything's good. Looking around, going to applications, clicking it, going to Droid Lock. It's pretty just a really dry, functional web page for social engineering to get someone to download or for you to use in a controlled environment to download um, payloads for execution. So let's get started on how we're going to set this up. So inside of Kali, the first thing I'm going to do is, because this is for the web server, what you're going to want to do is, if you just have uh, what comes with Kali, it probably won't really matter and you probably just want to delete them. But in case you already have web server stuff, is I'm going to go inside of this var www html folder. I'm going to create a new folder inside of here and I'm just going to call it backup. You can't have more than one index.html, so the web server Apache, by default, if you haven't changed it, it looks for, inside of this folder, it looks for a file called index.html, and that is the home page. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff, we're going to move it inside of backup, and then go back. So inside of var www.html, all I have is this backup folder. It's empty because we're going to download our new index.html for our home page. So let's get started on that. We're going to minimize this, come over to our web browser, go to GitHub. We're going to search for my handle, which is graylag x2. Over here on this left table at the bottom it says users. That's me. Okay, so here we'll find Android SE web template. So Android social engineering web template. Click that. All right, we'll see a folder, Android SE, the README, and the index.html itself. You have to have all of this. Well, the README is not really necessary, but you have to have this folder too. This also has to get placed inside of your var www.html directory, because inside of this it has the images, all the graphics for the web page. You're going to need that if you want it to look the same. So it's looking for this folder to pull out all the images. And then also you have this other folder in here called MSF apps. That is going to be the directory when you click the install button. So for example, when you click install here, it's going to be looking inside of this directory inside of your var www html Android SE MSF apps directory for payloads. So when you click that button, if the payload's not inside that directory, it's going to go error, not found on your web server or on your web browser. Unless you know how to edit HTML, you could do that and customize it. Like I said, it's a template for you to do with what you want, but keep it within the terms of use. So coming back here, we're going to clone this download. So this whole repository, copy it to the clipboard, open this up, git clone, and then if I look inside of this directory that we just downloaded, right, it's right here. If I look inside of it, you'll see our stuff. We're just going to move that over into our web server directory like this. We're going to move everything into var www HTML. So now remember we put everything into backup, so now this is everything out of the repository. The index.html, because we can't have two of them in there. The README, you could do whatever you want with that. It just gives you some instructions, and then our folder here. We're going to make sure our web server's up. Apache, right? Web server's running, and then now we can start generating payloads and putting it in there. And it's not going to work right out of the box, because if you come over here straight out of the box and you click install, it's going to say not found because there's no payloads inside of the Android SE MSF apps folder. We need to put payloads in there. And if you want them to match without doing a whole bunch of work, you want the names to match and you want the icons to go, I suggest you use APK Bleach. And so, I mean, we could pick any of these. I'll just go with the first one here, Studio Edit, and we'll make that with APK Bleach. This will make it really easy. So going back to my GitHub here, homepage, click that. Now APK Bleach, we'll grab that. We'll clone this as well. Looking inside of here, we can remove this because we've moved everything inside of it. Now git clone APK Bleach. Now we have our APK Bleach folder there. We'll give it permissions. Change mode. Okay, now we have permissions to it. And I'll give a quick run through of the stuff on here. So you can use APK Bleach properly. So if I launch APK Bleach and I go TAC H for help, it gives us pretty much a rundown. We're going to inject our icon. We're going to generate our payload, and then we're going to inject our icon. But we want to look at those icons because we were going to make this one, Studio Edit, for this demonstration. Of course, you want to have all of them, right? You would have to do this several times and pump out all these payloads with all these names and icons to make it accurate. But let's show you how to do that here. So I'm going to list these icons really quick. So if I go APK Bleach, TAC list, I got the 4G signal, the settings, the signal, the secure, the Android Studio. So Android Studio is the one that's going to be this right here. Studio Edit. That's the Android Studio icon. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that like this. And now we can pump out this payload. We're going to go APK Bleach. TAC G for generate, and just like MSF Venom, just a quick Android interpreter. Oh, lhost 1.8. And then we're going to give it our icon. Did we not copy that? Control Shift copy, Control Shift paste. Okay, there's our icon, and then we're going to output it into the correct directory. It's var www.html, and then it's in Android SE, and then our MSF apps directory. Now, quick thing that you got to realize here is we have to name this the correct thing. So inside of here, if I open this with Sublime, you'll see that if I scroll down to the very first one, which is here, Studio Edit, you'll see that the button on click function will open Android SE directory, MSF apps directory, and then Studio Edit.apk. It has to be, unless you come in here and edit it yourself, it has to be just like this. Okay, so capital S TUDIO dash capital E DIT.apk inside of that folder. So we want it to say just like that. So when I come back to this generation, we're going to go studio edit.apk. I really like using this because injecting icons is just a pain. So it makes this really easy to pump out all the ones you need. That shouldn't have done that. Okay, it moved it into Studio Edit, it moved it into our directory var www.html, blah blah blah. So let's come check it out. Android SE, MSF apps. Here is our payload. So now when we go over to our web page here, let's reload it. Now click install, it brings up this right here, downloading, right? Open, yes, install it, open it, continue, okay. Now click home, and then boop, there's our Android Studio icon, there's our Studio Edit app. I can click it a couple times, come back here, and then we're ready to go. We've just launched our payload. One more thing really quick, I mentioned on the last video I did for APK Bleach when I gave a demonstration of that, I showed you guys how to navigate to a page and just flat out download it immediately. So let's delete this really quick. Uninstall, okay. On that video, all I did was navigate to the page and it automatically downloaded. So I'm going to cover that really quick as well. Inside of here, we are going to remove this stuff. I have this one here. Let's check it out. Open with another application, Sublime. So this is the basic HTML here for an automatic download. And let's give an example of it really quick. So control copy, HTML, paste it in there, rename it, just index.html. Okay, now, oh, actually, let's open this. Let's go on here, open. Okay. So here we have it set as this iframe. It automatically downloads because it just opens up an empty iframe and gives you a source here. And that iframe is just going to be, instead of service.apk, which is old, where it's our app inside of here. Oh, we deleted it. let's do this really quick. How much time we got? Yeah, we can do it in time. So if I go MSF Venom, type P Android, lhost. That's just for the demonstration. Don't pay attention to the lhost or lport that I'm using. Var www.html, and we'll name this whatever .apk. So we're sticking that in there. Wait for this to finish really quick. Okay, we're done. Open this up, and remember we named this whatever whatever .apk. Control save. Now, when I come over my browser here and we go to this web page, you see how I reloaded the page? Let's click this off and do this again. I'll reload the page. Bam, automatic download. Click OK. Open whatever.apk, install, open, continue. Okay, close it. Now we have main activity, the original MSF Venom payload here, with its default icon, which is suspicious in its own. So just keep that in mind. If you guys wanted to use automatic download, when I have physical access, that works great because I don't want to deal with the theatrics. But when I don't have physical access and we're trying to, of course, in our controlled environment with the right permissions in place, socially engineer, I use the web template. So there you go.